get it. You've been trying to hit that reset button, trying to change your life and stop living a life that you don't love. This is that video. Stop telling yourself you need a year or 6 months to turn your life around. You only need a week. This is the perfect blueprint on how to achieve that. By the end of the week, you will have a clearer path to a more purpose-driven life. Not long ago, my self-esteem was at rock bottom, and I feel like some people don't think that because of all of the like positivity videos I talk about. I thought I'd never find happiness. I thought I'd never be successful and enjoy life. I'm gonna break this up into different sections of the video. I'll put the timestamps in the description so that if you want to watch a certain part, you can. One of the most important things that people tend to glaze over, and that is squashing the fear of change. Your brain is kind of wired in a certain way, which makes change a lot more scary than it needs to be. But I'm about to show you how you can trick your brain and make it your strongest ally. When I was younger, I wasn't one of the smart ones. My identity was shattered because I felt like I was being judged by all of these other kids who have this like talent about them that I don't have. And so I would focus so much on the things I am good at, which is like performing and creative stuff. And whenever I got told in those certain subjects, oh, you need to work on this, I was so upset because it was like, I'm bad, I've never been a smart one, and now I'm being told that a certain area of a skill I'm good at isn't good enough. I was so close to dropping out of my performing arts college because I had a fixed mindset of you have to be good at everything to make it to the next stage, or you weren't. But I did end up staying, which I'm very grateful for, and I went to Mount View. I had to become an adult quickly. I'm the youngest sibling, so I've always been babied, so I had to really kick into like being mature, taking care of myself, and that was a foundation, which means I'm not guaranteed 3 more years afterwards. So it was really scary having this like uncertainty, being in this new environment, being like I could not be here in this place next year. I showed myself I am capable of doing hard things. I realized that everything isn't like set in stone from the moment you're born. And now that I'm back home, my perspective and mindset has completely changed. Even when now I have bad days, I don't think like my whole world is gonna end. And like, I know for like people who are my age and younger, and you kind of learn to just get out of it. But I think it's really good if you are a bit younger, like my age, or even a bit younger, to get out of that habit as soon as possible. Anyway, this all has a logic because the first step of reinventing yourself has to be understanding change. You have to believe you can change. That is like a crucial thing, otherwise it's going to be a lot harder. When you believe that your intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work, you're more likely to embrace challenges and ultimately achieve your goals. And if you don't achieve your goals, you're more likely to think in a way that is positive. I encourage you to write down in your notes app, in Notion, or in anything else you like to use, as many challenges that you have overcome that you can remember. And this doesn't need to be a big dramatic thing. It can literally be as simple as tidying your room. For example, I talk about it quite a lot, but that is that I hate packing, and when I tidied my whole uni room, I still can't believe I did that. And to some people that probably seems like the most insignificant little thing in the entire world, but for me that was a huge deal. Or it can be pushing through social anxiety, or doing a really long run, or getting a higher score than you got predicted in a test, talking to someone even though you were really scared, being a kind, good person even when you have no energy to give, or learning a new recipe when you had no idea how to cook. All of those show that you have ability to change because you've already in the process of changing. So every time that little voice in your head says I can't, I want you to look at this list you've written down and remind yourself actually you can, because you've done so many things even that you thought you couldn't do. Next one is intention. Most people feel tired and drained and exhausted, but it's not from something that they are really fulfilled by and they really enjoy. You don't need more hours at your desk. You need a better idea of where you want to go. So let's set the intention that could change everything. I always talk about how I love to write to-do lists, and I'm not just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's actually evidence that people who write down their goals are more set to achieve them. If you believe it, it becomes an intention. I am such a sucker for any sort of activity that helps me dive into like my brain, or just like get me thinking and assess how and what I want to build in my life that is gonna make me enjoy it more. My favorite thing to help me really think about these things are either books or audiobooks. I don't really read many self-help books, but they are really useful. I feel like audiobooks are so accessible to everyone because most people will always listen to something or always watch something. I also love podcasts. They can really help. And you can also see what skills the new you wants to develop once you start developing the skills you're already good at. The next one is a little bit of a chunkier task. You want to know who you actually want to be. I would recommend setting your big intentions into actionable steps. For example, if your action is to get a little bit fitter, you can set yourself a goal of doing a workout every single day. It was one of my goals a few months ago, and I now do like an hour 15 workout at the gym every day. When I first started like 2 years ago, I got so scared of the gym, so I set myself a goal of doing a half an hour workout at home, and then I gradually have built up. But if I set myself that as the first goal, that would be so daunting and I just wouldn't do it. And when you do end up wanting to start up again, it's actually more effort to make your brain into being like, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, just do it, which can be harder than actually just doing it. So set yourself small goals that then can lead you to the bigger goal. And if it's like learning a new skill, spend half an hour each day doing a bit of that skill rather than doing like 3 hours and not giving yourself any breaks in between. This reduces overwhelm and makes bigger goals feel achievable. And this is why I always write down a to-do list, because I can see what little small goals I want to do every day to achieve this big goal. The key is to start small, because then you're going to build momentum. So another goal I have for you is to put literally, like, it can be as short as 15 to 20 minutes towards one of your intentions. Now you need to stop ignoring reflection. If you think reflection is just for philosophers and it's a bit of a boring, mundane task, think again. The action of looking back, I think, is a game-changing way you can move forward. And not just reflection like here and there once a month. I mean regular reflection. Taking an experience you had, whether that's from school, from work, and treating it like how a scientist would. Being analytical, taking time to assess where you are, what was working, what wasn't working. This just helps you stay on track. People who do this are more likely to adapt and get out of ruts. So if you're stuck in a rut, I would bet that you haven't been doing enough reflection. I love reflecting in either my 5-minute journal, but recently I noticed I wasn't really reflecting in it as much as I originally thought I was. So now I use Notion. I created a journaling section and I basically just journal every single day, and I will do a tiny bit of reflection on each day. If you've never reflected before, I'm not saying reflect every single day. Maybe start with once a week, reflecting on the week you've just had. I get it. With everything else that you are doing in life, which can be so much, it's completely clear why reflection is often forgotten about. There are so many things that I look back on and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. That was really bad of me. I know next time that a situation like that happens, I'm not going to do that. I love journaling. One, it just makes me tired because I'm not on my phone. I'm gonna put on the side some pointers that I like to talk about when I'm journaling, because it can be really hard to just think, what can I like say in my journal? How can I reflect as a first time beginner? If you are interested in changing your life and taking all of these steps, I would really recommend following these prompts here. This is something that I'm not gonna lie, I'm still struggling with myself. Just because I'm doing this video doesn't mean that like everything is done and I can just sit back and relax. No, it's doing something that you hate. You don't want to feel safe and comfortable all the time if you want to reinvent yourself. In like the modern day society, you can do so much, way more than you used to be able to, without leaving your house. I could have food without even leaving my door. I could work from my bed every single day. I could talk to someone without even seeing them. Convenience is amazing, and this isn't me being ungrateful for everything. It means that we rarely ever do things that make us feel uncomfortable. Reinvention isn't a comfortable process. You have to step out of your comfort zone, otherwise how are you going to change? When I was younger, I used to literally be like, I want to change myself, I want to reinvent myself, but I don't really want to step out of my comfort zone. How are you going to change if you can't get past your fears? That is where all the growth happens. People who push through their limits experience way better personal growth. Stop shying away from challenges, embrace them. For me, I'm going to a new school in September and I'm so scared because so many people know each other already, and that's going to be really scary to put myself out there moving to a new city. Even like speaking in a meeting out loud to everyone can, but these are stepping stones to become who you want to be. Next one is embrace connection. So while trying to do something, being alone isn't going to help it. Your support network are one of the most significant factors for happiness. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and most importantly, believe in you. I could not have achieved so much stuff without my friends, and even like little things of them being like, I'm proud of you for doing this, or saying well done after you have done something and acknowledging that. My mum has always encouraged me. My friends have always said to me after every single audition I've got rejected from, my friends have always said that everything happens for a reason. My friends at uni would sometimes cook for me or go out to the shops and buy me something if I didn't have the time. The only struggle is that you have no control over the actions that others. Some people will be unkind, and they could be people you've been friends with for years and all of a sudden they just don't speak to you again. Or you will just randomly meet somebody one day who doesn't say something very nice to you. That could happen, but I am such a believer that the person that you would want to be friends with, you have to become that. Give another person notes if they need some notes for a certain class. Check in on a friend. Message somebody and ask how they've been if you haven't spoken in a while. I'm really struggling with this at the moment, but I think it's really important to do that to people. Even if you've kind of like distanced yourself from people, go out of your way and message them and ask how they've been. Even if they air you, so what, they air you, is that really that big of a deal? No. The answer is no. You don't need to completely isolate yourself from your friends because that isn't going to be good for you. Next one is the power of small wins. A secret to long-lasting change isn't about these massive steps forward. It's about tiny little victories that add up to something. One of the most effective ways to reinvent yourself is to focus on the small things that have happened, what we call small wins. Small wins can significantly boost happiness and motivation to keep on going with that thing. I always think small wins equals big progress. And I've seen this in my own journey. Psychologically, we enjoy things that we are good at. So when we get a bad note in something that we thought we were good at, it can feel like the world is ending. And it makes us want to give up and do something else. I always think if I was amazing at something and I got another note being like, you're amazing at this, it doesn't mean anything. Whereas when somebody says you're doing a really good job on something, it really means something to people. Because sometimes I will get people being like, that wasn't the best, that wasn't very good. Start small, build momentum, and watch how those small wins accumulate into huge changes over time. For me, for example, I had taken a huge gap on my YouTube channel this year, and now I've come back and I'm posting 3 times a week, and I've got like 6 subscribers in the past week, which is insane. So I just want to say thank you to all of the new subscribers. It doesn't go unnoticed and it really means so much to me. If you know anybody else who also wants to reinvent themselves, whether that's a friend, a family member, whatever, I start a group chat. And creating group chats for things like this can really help set accountability. When I first started going to the gym, I created a group chat with my mum and my sister, and it held us accountable for actually going to the gym. You can also put in this group chat all of the things you are grateful for or small wins you've had that week. It could literally be a task that you've procrastinated that you finally did, or something as big as getting a mark on a test that's really good. But whether it's going on a group chat or just writing it down and keeping it to yourself, celebration is key. Take a moment today to celebrate how far you've come. You've already come so far by acknowledging that you want to change and watching this video. Recognizing your progress keeps you motivated and reminds you that change is happening and it's on its way to something big. If you're on your way to changing yourself, great. But how do you keep consistent and motivated? Well, I've already filmed a video on that, so if you want to go watch it, I highly recommend you will. I'll put it in the description box below if you want to watch that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have an amazing week this week. I think I'm going to upload this on Monday, so let me know if you're on your way to reinventing yourself this week. I'd love to know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.